A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Today we are focusing on the FMCG sector in India as well as talking tech and much more on the show. In the first segment, I'm in conversation with Anubhav Agarwal, MD and CEO BN Group. And in the second segment, a chat lined up with Nitin Seth, co-founder and CEO Incedo. Thank you, Anubhav, for joining us today.
Thank you.
To begin with, I'd like to hear your perspective on the current state of the edible oils market in India, which faced significant disruptions in 2022 due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It resulted in heightened retail prices and considerable price volatility. So how do you view the market now, and where do you believe it stands today?
When we talk about edible oil market, so edible oil market is quite good. In past few years, we have seen many disruptions like COVID, like Ukraine and Russia war. But in all these times, edible oil stood as a supporting type of commodity or the business that has helped the countries. So when we talk about Ukraine and Russia, at that time the prices were quite high because the sunflower was going quite higher as the major production is done by Ukraine and Russia of the sunflower. So now when we see in this 2023 and 24, the prices are quite, we can say that there is no volatility as of now. The market is also good. And going forward, if we talk about the industry, the CAGR of the industry is quite good. And we see that today the market is around $70 billion of this edible oil, and going forward it will be around $120 billion by 2030.
Now, the BN Group reported revenues exceeding 4,500 crore rupees last year. Tell us, what key factors do you believe have been instrumental in achieving this impressive growth?
So when we talk about our group, BN Group has done around 4,500 crores of the business in the last year, and by this business we have launched the product of Nutrica, in which we are targeting to have a profitability of around 500 crores in the coming 3 years. From here till 27, and going forward we are looking for the revenues growth. For this year also we are targeting around 6,500 crores, and by 27 we are targeting for 20,000 crores, as we have already invested in some expansions of our group, in some expansions of the industry, the refining in the Gandhidham, Kandla, where we are situated.
Now, you also launched Nutrica, with the goal of capturing 10% of India's edible oil market and reaching a targeted turnover of 500 crore rupees by 27-28, right? Tell me, what specific strategies are you implementing to achieve these targets, and how do you plan to set Nutrica apart from competition?
So basically, when we talk about Nutrica, we need to understand that this is a lifestyle brand. And this is not just an edible oil brand, it is a lifestyle brand. It talks about, it gives the education to the consumer that we are targeting for the lifestyle in terms of fitness, in terms of energy, in terms of obesity. In today's scenario, these three are the major challenges for each of us. So when we talk about Nutrica, this is a totally, when we talk about Nutrica, it is a game changer. So we have launched this by doing a lot of R&D in this product. In this, we are targeting that we will be able to do the profitability. So the profitability numbers are also quite good. What I can say is that ये एक बिल्कुल change है. It is a new thing that has entered into the market. As of now, when we talk about competition, no one has done this type of product.
Now, the theme for our show this season is powering entrepreneurs for the global stage. As BN Group continues to grow, tell us, what is your strategy for expanding globally, especially into markets like Africa?
Basically, when we talk about BN Group growth, हमारा एक मंत्र है जो हम लोग अपने कंपनी में यूज़ करते हैं, दैट वी आर नॉट जस्ट द टेकर्स, वी आर द गिवर्स टू द सोसाइटी. वी आर फोकसिंग टू मेक इंडिया एज सेल्फ रिलायंट एज आर PM's vision is there. And when we talk about BN Group is a diversified, is not just an edible oil company, it is a diversified group which is creating consumer products, which is creating solar products, which is into many of the industries, and we are into the into the diversion of the things which we can basically focus कि ये self-reliant है. India can do these things. So BN Group has a bright future. What I can say is.
And with your extensive experience in the FMCG and edible oils sector, tell us what advice would you give smaller businesses trying to establish themselves in a market that is both highly competitive and price sensitive?
मैं अपनी कंपनी में भी बहुत से लोगों से बात बोलता हूँ. फोकस होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट्स होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. अगर हम छोटे लोगों की बात करते हैं जो कि आज हमारे SMEs हैं, MSMEs हैं, जिनके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने इतनी अच्छी स्कीम्स लॉन्च करी हैं, लोग बाग उसके लिए आज क्या है कि हमारे इंडिया के अंदर एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है कि हमारे पास में आइडियाज़ बहुत सारे हैं, बट क्या फोकस्ड आइडिया होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. जब हम इंडिया की बात करते हैं तो इंडिया में छोटे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो हैं वो ही इस इंडिया को आगे ले जाने के लिए आज जो हमारी ताकत है वो ये है. जैसे मतलब व्हाट ऑल आई कैन से इज़ दैट still there is lot that has to come in India. मतलब अभी तक इंडिया जो काम कर रहा है, आज आप सोलर के अंदर देखें, सोलर के अंदर पहले हम लोग वी वर डूइंग अराउंड 50 मेगावाट, 100 मेगावाट. नाउ वी आर टारगेटिंग फॉर 5 गीगावाट, 10 गीगावाट, 25 gigawatts. Our Prime Minister has a vision of creating 500 gigawatt solar energy by 2030. So there are lots of things. When we talk about FMCG industry, it is like it is a $1 trillion economy which can be created, and we are focusing, our country is focusing on manufacturing. So अगर हम आज SMEs की या छोटे लोगों की भी बात करें, जो कि छोटा व्यापारी है, छोटा बिजनेसमैन है, उसके पास में आइडियाज़ हैं, उसके पास में आज टेक्नोलॉजी है. वी जस्ट नीड टू फोकस आवर आइडियाज़ विद द लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी and have the great talent. That's all what I would suggest to the youngsters today and the newcomers in the industry.
Could you elaborate on the role that technology and infrastructure investments have played in your growth strategy and how these investments are setting you up for future success?
So basically in our growth, what I will say, like last year we have celebrated 10 years of the foundation of this group. So when we talk about the technology, I and all the people around me in my company, basically we talk BN Group as a BN परिवार. और इसके अंदर BN परिवार में हम लोग यही बात बोलते हैं कि सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए आप अपडेट रहो. रिसर्च एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट जो है वो आपको अपडेट रखेगा, आपके लिए कल के लिए, आपको आने वाले कल के लिए तैयार रखेगा. We hire the best talent. We try to acquire the best talent in the market, जो कि आपको आगे आने के लिए, मतलब when we talk about learning, तो उसके साथ में हमारे को best talent भी चाहिए. So that is all we are targeting in BN Group.
Sure. And in a market where consumers have numerous choices, tell us, how do you manage your retail network distribution to ensure that your products stand out?
So basically we are working on the designing, we are working on the marketing, we are working on the product type, कि क्या हम प्रोडक्ट के अंदर अच्छे से अच्छा कर सकते हैं. हम आज कंज्यूमर को सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है किसी भी प्रोडक्ट को चॉइस करने के लिए, उसको उसके जो 5 सेंसेस हैं उसमें वो चीज़ अच्छी बैठनी चाहिए. जब वो प्रोडक्ट वो देखे तो प्रोडक्ट को देखने में वो अच्छा होना चाहिए. इट शुड हैव द प्रॉपर लाइसेंसेस उसके अंदर, मतलब ऑल सारी अथॉरिटीज़ जो कि इसके अंदर हमारे प्रोडक्ट में, जैसे हम कंज्यूमर प्रोडक्ट की बात करते हैं तो जितने भी लाइसेंसेस हैं वो सारी चीज़ें होनी चाहिए. उसको खाने में स्वाद आना चाहिए, उसको ऐसा लगना चाहिए जो चीज़ वो कंज्यूम कर रहा है दैट इज़ हेल्दी फॉर द फैमिली.
Finally, as a leader, what is your long-term vision for BN Group? How do you see the company evolving in the next decade?
As a leader, I would not restrict BN Group to the numbers. आंकड़ों में फंसने का कोई काम नहीं है. All what I will say is BN Group has a bright vision. We are a FMCG company. We are going in solar industry. We are going in the semiconductor industry also. We are focusing how we can basically do for our nation, and there is a lot of space. So we are targeting to be the leading company of edible oil in the industry.
Well, all the best to you. It was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
People is not an afterthought, to my mind, the way you think about any business, not just a tech business, is that there are two fundamental pillars. There are clients or customers. You can't have a business without customers. And the second is people. Yeah. And I always think of it as a dual mission. That, it has to be, it's not, people are not a means to an end. It's not that, finally our objective is to generate a certain profit and so on. And people are a factor of production.
Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. In this segment, we feature Nitin Seth, co-founder and CEO Incedo. Mr. Seth is an Indian tech entrepreneur and best-selling author. He's also the former COO of Flipkart. Today, he speaks to us about technology, entrepreneurship, and much more.
I actually started on my entrepreneurial journey very early on. So, from MBA, I joined McKinsey, and 4 years into McKinsey, this was the dot-com boom. So I set up a dot-com company called Active Karma. So very early on in my career, it was a great disaster, so it was a very auspicious way for me to start my entrepreneurial journey. Well, I think, I think that disaster was with my first startup was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because it brought my ego down like this. It helped me understand, realities of running a business, and that's really how my entrepreneurial journey started. Though I went back to McKinsey, but then, still, I think since then, whatever I have done, I have approached it with a very entrepreneurial mindset. So I think it's a kind of, I just want to say that entrepreneurship is not just about doing a startup. You could be in a large company and you can be an entrepreneur. The way technology is going, it's actually becoming easier to use. So in the world of technology, there is a very big shift happening from building technology to consuming technology. So earlier, you had to maybe build your own systems, which if you were a MSME, it was very difficult for you, because you did not have the technical know-how or the investment, capability to do so. But today it is different. Today, the way technology has progressed, there are a lot of SaaS-based solutions available. Most verticals, most industries, there are some SaaS solutions. Most functional topics, whether it is around, let's say, inventory management, to people supply chain, to sales marketing, customer management, there would be SaaS platforms, which are very easy to use. So an MSME should not go about trying to build their systems. That will be very tough. They should understand, what solutions are available and use those solutions. Every job is going to get affected with the AI age. Every job, But data in particular, I think there are, it has very profound implications. Now, first, AI is based on data. So the two have a very, very symbiotic relationship. As AI is exploding, it is because of data. So overall, this is great. The space of data, and therefore jobs in data are going to explode. So that's the good news. But within data, there are going to be some changes. Now, data scientist, was supposed to be one of the sexiest jobs of the 21st century. And I've been very involved in setting it up when I was at McKinsey. But I foresee that the traditional data scientist job, will perhaps go down, will shrink, because a lot of that capability of building models now, that is inbuilt into the platforms that are available. Yeah, the cloud-based platforms, that we are now routinely using. That capability is already there. So that the data scientist job, which was like, oh wow, this is the greatest thing, might shrink. But the data engineer job is likely to explode, and is exploding, which is the data engineer job is to bring the data together, because there is such an explosion in the volume, velocity, variety of data that's becoming a much bigger deal. So I would say that for every dollar that is being spent on data science, there are perhaps $10 being spent on data engineering. So we can talk about many things, but that's one of the headlines that I would like to share, that data scientist job changing and perhaps shrinking. The data scientist job that will remain will become a lot more specialized, but the data engineer jobs are really, really exploding. Yeah, that's a great question, and I think very, very relevant, especially for us here in India, because so much of our workforces are digital natives. So look, with technology, the pace at which new technology is evolving, digital, AI, data, blockchain, IoT, actually the value of experience has gone down. My 17-year-old son has an AI startup, and he's had it for 2 years. And he's solving problems which perhaps I might struggle to solve, or even my company might struggle to solve. And it's not about him, but I think it's just the nature of technology that digital natives are able to, for them it's natural. So, but when the same digital native enters the workforce, and they already probably are more comfortable and natural with the new technologies than with their managers, but suddenly they're placed at the lowest end of the food chain. And then it's sit, stand, do this, don't do this, you didn't fill in your timesheet, you didn't do this. So, and most times we kind of we put them into a command and control structure. So I think that's a challenge digital natives face. That in their I think there's a big difference between their personal lives and their professional lives. In their personal lives, they are really exploring technology, they are challenging. Most people in the tech industry, they have some side gig happening where they're trying to create a product. But that creativity and passion that they have, we are not today tapping that into the workplace. People is not an afterthought, to my mind. The way you think about any business, not just a tech business, is that there are two fundamental pillars. There are clients or customers. You can't have a business without customers. And the second is people. And I always think of it as a dual mission. That it has to be, it's not, people are not a means to an end. It's not that, oh, finally our objective is to generate a certain profit and so on, and people are a factor of production. It's a great need, I think for long, we in India have played below our level. We have been very comfortable really building for the West. And I think time has come for us to really build global companies from India. First and foremost, what is needed is a certain confidence. A confidence that I can win globally. Number two, they need to build an understanding of the end customer problems. Number three is taking risk. Because when you play global, you have to invest. You can't really build a global business without investment. When you invest, you are taking risk. It can work, it may not work.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.